By the power vested on me as the king of this kingdom, Queen Zara is dethroned. Years have passed since Zara became queen, and the village that was once mocked as the bald village now stands tall among neighboring kingdoms. Peace rests on the land like early morning dew. Zara rules with kindness, patience, and wisdom far beyond her age. She listens before she speaks. She forgives before she judges. 2. Under her reign, the people learn what it means to be united. Slowly, something miraculous begins to happen. It does not happen suddenly, and it does not happen loudly. It begins quietly in the hearts of new mothers. One woman gives birth to a baby girl, and days later, soft strands of hair appear on the child's head. Another woman notices the same thing weeks later. First, people are afraid to speak of it. They whisper behind closed doors. They touch the children's heads as if afraid the hair might disappear, but the hair remains. Not all girls are born with hair, but some are. Little by little, hope returns to the village. The elders sit under the old tree and nod slowly. They know what this means. To curse that once defined their existence is weakening. The land responds as well. Crops grow fuller. The soil stays moist even during dry seasons. The river no longer dries up unexpectedly. Traders from far villages visit again. Songs return to the nights. Laughter becomes common. The bald village is no longer ashamed of its name. Queen Zara walks through the village often, greeting the people, smiling at children, blessing mothers. She wears her crown lightly and her long hair proudly. To many, her hair is no longer just beauty. It is a symbol of truth, destiny, and restoration. But while the village heals, bitterness survives in one forgotten corner. Mama Vero is alive. She is not imprisoned, and she is not banished. But she is forgotten. She lives at the edge of the village where dry bushes grow and fences fall apart. Her hut is small and quiet, far from the palace drums and celebration songs. From there, she watches everything. She watches the palace grow brighter. She watches the people smile again. She watches children run freely. Each sight fills her with anger. Mama Vo does not feel regret. She does not feel shame. Instead, her heart grows harder with each passing day. She believes life has cheated her. She believes Zara stole what belonged to her family. She believes the village praised the wrong woman. To her, Zara's success is not destiny. It is mockery. In her heart, Mama Vero tells herself that if Zara had never been born, her daughter Vo would have been queen. She convinces herself that the village owes her something. The more peace she sees, the more pain she feels. At night, Mama Veo talks to herself. She reminds herself of the humiliation she suffered. She remembers how people once bowed to Zara while looking away from her. She remembers how her name became a whisper of shame. Instead of seeking forgiveness, she chooses revenge. Quietly, carefully, MMA Vero begins to search for dark knowledge. She remembers old stories told by elders long before the curse. Stories of forbidden rituals older than the village itself. Rituals that were never written down. Rituals passed only to those willing to sacrifice their conscience. She convinces herself that if she can bring Zara down, the village will suffer again, and then they will understand her pain. One night, Mama Veo leaves her hut quietly. She carries items wrapped in cloth. She walks far beyond the village boundary into a forest where even hunters fear to enter. There, under a dying tree, she performs a forbidden ritual. She calls names that should not be called. She pours offerings into the earth and whispers her desire. She asks for only one thing, that Zara should fall alone. The ritual listens. Days later, Queen Zara begins to notice something strange. At first, it is small. She finds strands of hair on her mat. When she wakes, she assumes it is normal. Hair sheds sometimes, but then it happens again and again. Soon, when she washes her hair, more strands fall into her hands than usual. Zara grows concerned. He does not speak of it immediately. She does not want to alarm anyone. But deep inside, she feels a strange weakness. She cannot explain. Her strength feels drained. Her sleep becomes restless. Then one morning, as her maid helps her dress, the maid freezes. Zara's hair has thinned. Within days, it becomes impossible to hide. Zara's once full hair begins to fall in pesos. The queen starts covering her head with cloth. The people notice. Whispers return to the village. Women gather and talk quietly. Men shake their heads in worry. Children ask questions. Their parents cannot answer. Memavero watches from her hut, smiling for the first time in years. She fuels the whispers. She tells people the curse has returned. She reminds them that curses do not disappear easily. She says perhaps Zara was never pure after all. Slowly, doubt spreads like smoke. Soon, Zara's hair disappears completely. The same people who once praised her now look at her with fear. They say she has been exposed. They say destiny has rejected her. Mayor Vero steps forward boldly. She organizes angry villagers. She speaks loudly in public gatherings. She points out that other women still have their hair, while Zara alone has lost hers. She claims this is proof that Zara is no longer chosen. The crowd grows restless. Protests rise. Drums beat in anger, not celebration. Mayor Vero stands among them, shouting louder than anyone. Inside the palace, the king and the prince watch everything closely. They see through the lies. They recognize the familiar pattern of jealousy, but they do not act immediately. Instead, they plan. One morning, the king makes a shocking announcement. Queen Zara is dethroned. The words hit the village like thunder. Zara is removed from public view. The palace doors close against her. Some villagers celebrate, believing justice has been served. Mama Vero and Vero rejoice openly. They think they have won, but it is all a lie. Zara is not abandoned. She is secretly moved into a hidden palace within the main palace grounds. Oh, the king, the prince, and trusted guards know. The prince visits her often, holding her hands, reassuring her that the truth will soon be revealed. Though her heart is broken, Zara remains calm. She trusts destiny. Mema Vero, believing victory is hers, grows bolder. She travels to a distant village where she meets a powerful herbalist. She tells him her plan to make her daughter Vero the chosen queen. The herbalist gives her a potion to rub on Vero's head, warning her strictly that rainwater must never touch it. Mama Vero laughs. She believes queens do not walk in the rain. Vero uses the potion. 2 days later, her hair begins to grow. Within a week, it becomes long and shiny. Mama Vero pays gossipers to spread the news. The village begins to whisper again. The king advises the prince to marry Vero, pretending to accept her destiny so they can watch her closely. Bo enters the palace as a bride, proud and loud. The trap is set and Zara waits in silence. As destiny prepares its final move, Vero enters the palace as a bride, but peace does not follow her. From the first day she steps into the royal compound, her true nature begins to show. She walks with her head high, her newly grown hair swinging proudly behind her. She believes the throne already belongs to her, even though no crown has been placed on her head. She speaks to servants with sharp words. She shouts at guards as if they are animals. She orders people around, not with authority, but with arrogance. Those who bow to her do so out of fear, not respect. Memo visits the palace often. Each time she comes, she walks boldly as though she owns the place. Shu whispers into her daughter's ears, reminding her that power must be enjoyed before it slips away. Vero listens carefully. Together, mother and daughter taste power like sweet wine. Vero begins to misuse the palace resources. Shu orders guards to leave their duty posts and enter farms to catch live animals for her mother. Sometimes it is a goat. Sometimes it is a ram. Other times she demands bushmeat. The guards hesitate, knowing such orders are wrong. But fear forces them to obey. When animals are no longer enough, Vero's greed grows. She starts picking chickens from the palace grounds, not ordinary chickens, but the ones reserved for sacred purposes. Elders whisper warnings. Servants plead with her. Guards try to advise her quietly, but Vero refuses to listen. She believes nothing can touch her. Meanwhile, Queen Zara remains hidden inside the secret palace. Though she is no longer seen by the people, she is not alone. The prince visits her regularly. He brings her food, comfort, and words of reassurance. He tells her to remain strong. The truth is moving quietly, just as destiny always does. Zara's heart aches when she hears the noise of the palace from afar. She knows the people are confused. She knows some have turned against her, but she does not curse them. She prays silently for the village. Hair, once gone, begins to grow again, slowly, quietly, strand by strand. The king and the prince notice. They exchange knowing glances. They understand that destiny has not abandoned Zara. The curse has not returned. Something else is at work. The prince secretly orders a trusted guard to watch MMA Vero closely. The guard obeys. He notices something strange. Moro often leaves the village, sometimes once a week, sometimes more. One day, the guard follows her. He trails her quietly through bushes and narrow paths far beyond the village boundary. Mere Vero arrives at a hidden shrine deep in another village. The guard hides and watches as she speaks with a powerful herbalist. He hears her thank the man for helping her daughter grow hair. He hears her laugh proudly. The guard's heart pounds. He returns quickly and reports everything to the prince. The prince informs the king. At last, the missing pieces fall into place. They decide to wait. They know the charm has a weakness. The herbalist's warning becomes their hope. The opportunity comes sooner than expected. One morning, Mama Veo visits the palace again. As usual, Vero orders food to be prepared for her. This time, Vero demands a chicken from the sacred items prepared for the yearly ritual to the heavens. This ritual is important. Once a year, the king offers sacrifice to thank the heavens for peace, harvest, and life. The items are holy. No one touches them before the ceremony. A guard kneels before Vero and begs her not to take the chicken. He explains the danger. He reminds her of the laws of the land. Vero laughs. She insults him. She pushes him aside and takes the chicken herself. Mama Vo smiles in approval. They prepare the chicken and begin to eat. Soon, as the first bite touches their mouths, the sky changes. Dark clouds gather suddenly. The wind howls. Thunder roars loudly, shaking the ground. People look up in fear. Elders clutch their staffs. Then rain begins to fall. Not gently, heavily, violently. Before Vero and Mama Vero can escape, rain drenches them completely. The water soaks into Vero's hair. Immediately, something terrible happens. Vero screams. Her hair begins to fall in thick clumps. Memo Vero cries out as her own hair starts to disappear. No, Vera! The rain must not touch your hair. It is finished. Within moments, both mother and daughter are bald. The crowd freezes. The king steps forward. His voice is firm. He orders an emergency meeting of the elders. The rain stops as suddenly as it started. Mia Vero trembles. She knows the end has come. Surrounded by elders, guards, and villagers, Mia Veo breaks down. She confesses everything. She admits to seeking the herbalist. She admits to the charm. She admits to framing Zara again. She admits her hatred and jealousy. The elders listen in silence. Then something unbelievable happens. Queen Zara steps out from the hidden palace. Her hair is full, long, shining. The people gasp. Some fall to their knees. The truth stands before them. The king declares Zara the rightful queen, once again. He announces that the curse has been completely destroyed. The village erupts in cries of shame and relief. Memero and Veo are sentenced to banishment. But Zara steps forward. She speaks calmly. She asks the king to spare them banishment. She wants them to remain in the village. She wants them to watch peace. She wants them to see what they tried to destroy. The king agrees. Mama Veo and Varo remain in the village, bald forever, humiliated and broken. The villagers gather before Zara and beg for forgiveness. They promise never to doubt her again. Zara forgives them. As she speaks forgiveness, something miraculous happens. Hair begins to grow on the heads of the villagers, men and women alike. The curse is gone forever. Peace returns fully. Zara reigns once more. Destiny stands unshaken. And the bald village is bold no more. Moral lessons. Jealousy and lies may seem strong, but truth, destiny, and goodness always prevail. Mercy and patience bring healing, while wickedness destroys itself. True leadership is proven through love, humility, and righteousness, not power or appearances. Thank you so much for staying with us until the end of this story. Your time, your presence, and your support mean more to us than words can truly express. Without you listening, these stories would remain silent. We are deeply grateful for every moment you spend here with us. If this tale touched your heart, made you smile, or reminded you of the lessons passed down, please show your support by liking this video, sharing it with family and friends, and subscribing to our channel. Do you forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know whenever we drop a new story, because many more beautiful, meaningful, and unforgettable stories are still coming your way. These stories carry lessons of wisdom, courage, kindness, and respect, values that guide us through life, just as they guided those who came before us. May the message of today's story stay with you and light your path wherever you go. Until we meet again, stay out of troubles. See you in the next one.